Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of January 13th, 2024. Thank you for being a community member. Here's hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something super interesting. Let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, he's a cowboy now, right? What's happening there? On his 1,500-acre ranch on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, he said he's going to be producing some of the highest quality beef in the world. His cattle are Wagyu and Angus, and he's feeding his cows macadamia nut meal. After all, he's in Hawaii, and beer. Okay, there's the diet of champions. He says each cow eats 5,000 to 10,000 pounds of food a year. And the cows are getting the beer for what reason? To stimulate their appetite. And in other Mark Zuckerberg news, this is not a joke. On this 1,500-acre ranch on Kauai, he actually is building a 5,000 square foot underground bunker. 5,000 square feet under the ground, just in case. Wonder what he knows that the rest of us don't know. I mean, I have emergency food, I have emergency water, I have guns and cash and gold, but I don't have a 5,000 square foot bunker underground. Wonder how much that's going to cost. But speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, a boy walks up to Mark Zuckerberg and says to him, "My daddy says that you're stealing our information and you're selling it all. That's how you became a billionaire." And Mark Zuckerberg looks down at the little boy and says to him, "I have news for you. He's not your dad." Oh, isn't that a good one? And on that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And to those of you joining us for the first time, a huge welcome to you. We're thrilled to have you with us. And to our loyal listeners and viewers, a welcome back. You look amazing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 425 top stations throughout the United States. And you can also find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast on Spotify and Apple. Just search for my last name, Komando. And you can support everything that we do and become a Komando community member. You can watch us do the show. You get answers to your tech questions. We're going to start holding some online classes this year. And you also get the podcast commercial free. That's pretty sweet. Now you get a free 30-day trial right now over at Komando.com. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members in 175 different countries and 200 ships at sea. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And let me tell you, there are two things I need from you. Number one, the best way for us to grow our show and podcast is for you to tell just one person about it. And number two, I love to get your feedback. Head over to Komando.com and hit that link that says Email Kim. All right, just for you, I check out at least 35 different websites every single day. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening about tech right now. All right, the SEC had a big decision to make this past week to approve or not approve the Bitcoin Exchange Traded Funds, or ETFs. Here's what this means. If it's approved, you can open up your Vanguard, your Fidelity, whatever you use, and buy some Bitcoin. So it's a really big deal. So the crypto world's been waiting on this decision for a lot of years. So when the SEC appeared to announce its approval of the funds on the X platform, crypto folks got super happy about this, and Bitcoin prices was surged way up. But there was one problem. It wasn't true. It was a fake out. Turns out, you're not going to believe this, the SEC didn't have two-factor authentication turned on their X account. So someone broke into the account. They made this tweet. Oh my gosh. Even had a quote from Gary Gessler that the ETF was totally approved. Well, Gary Gessler then posted a few minutes later from his personal account that the tweet was fake. The value dropped right back down, lower than it was before. Whoopsies. Can you believe the SEC did not have two-factor authentication turned on their account? They weren't paying $8 a month for it. Now, about a year ago, the SEC actually put a tweet out that said, the only place where you can trust information from us is on our X account. Turn on two-factor authentication, folks, okay? All right, number 2, the pros, they're ditching their fitness trackers. What? Just a few years ago, all these wrist-worn fitness trackers were the biggest holiday gifts ever because, after all, it was a New Year's resolution. You can measure the number of steps you take every day. You track your heart rate. It's a big deal for runners and swimmers and bicyclists. But now, not too many people like these devices. Why? Because they work too well. From pros to average people like me getting exercise, these fitness devices have become addictive. So instead of enjoying the moment, a lot of us realize that we're getting addicted to the data. So that walk, that run, or that swim is no longer fun. It's a chore. You're reading the data, you're comparing your progress, and then you pick up the next day, you try to outdo the day before. So if you're no longer enjoying your daily exercise, take a break from the tracking. All right, coming in at number 3 is we're going to talk about Jeff Bezos and Google. What's going on? Now, for so many years, I predicted that someday, somehow, someone is going to create this search website that's going to just outdo Google. And some say it's already happened with ChatGPT. But I have to tell you about this small AI search website, 40 employees, operating out of like a small shared workspace in San Francisco, kind of like the early days of Google. It's called Perplexity AI. It started up 2 years ago, but the owners kept a low profile. Only has 10 million users a month. But as of January 1st, it also has the backing of Jeff Bezos and a whole bunch of other folks. They invested $74 million. Now, I tested it with questions that ChatGPT got wrong, and Perplexity is spot on. It's right, it's free. They do have a pay version like ChatGPT, but you don't have to get the pay version. In case you want to check it out, it's called Perplexity AI. Number 4, Zillow says that these are the hottest housing markets of 2024. Talking about the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the South are home to most of 24's hottest markets. Buffalo, Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, Providence, Rhode Island. It just tops the list. It's saying that these are the cities that are the most affordable. The average home price in Buffalo, New York, I know it's really cold there, $250,000. That's $100,000 lower than the U.S. national average of $350,000. Oh, no wonder why people are leaving the big cities. And speaking of Buffalo, oh my gosh, what did the daddy buffalo say to the baby buffalo when he grew up and went to college? What did the daddy buffalo say to the baby buffalo when he grew up and went to college? Bison. I know, I crack myself up. Finally, this coming in at number 5, robotic pets are here. Samsung has one called Bali that was announced at CES that will follow you around and project videos and stuff like that. I'm going to talk more about all of those CES hot products coming up later on the show. But I want to talk about Sony. Sony has had this robot for so many years, the Ava. It's $2,900. Let's call it $3,000. $3,000 robotic dog. And you might be thinking, like, is it as good as a real dog to keep me company? Well, the Chichi Medical University in Japan, they did a whole bunch of studies. And this Samsung dog is designed to look like a small penguin, the one that they were testing with. Stands on 2 feet, a body temperature just like ours. When you stroke the stomach, it closes its eyes, it makes a breathing sound. Press its nose, and it shakes with laughter. The little guy tracks you with a camera, moves its hand to ask for a hug, makes eye contact. So how'd it go? After 2 months, the love hormone of the folks who were using were 2.2 higher than those who didn't own the robot. And those without the robot had twice the level of the stress hormone. So even a robotic dog is good for us. Okay, imagine if this were to happen to you. It's just a regular morning. You're getting ready for work when suddenly something's not right. You start feeling incredibly weak. Your vision is suddenly fuzzy and you're super dizzy. It's scary, right? So what would you do? Okay, this is not exactly a what if. This is what happened to Natalie Nasaka from Delaware. And with just moments to spare, she turned to her Apple Watch. And joining us right now is Natalie herself. Wow, Natalie, what an amazing story. When did you first notice that something was wrong?
I woke up that morning and ate breakfast, and I was so exhausted that I canceled my morning plans and just rolled over and went to sleep for about another hour. And then around noon, I was like, no, I have to get up. I have stuff to do. There are deadlines to meet. And at the bottom of the stairs, I felt so weak and dizzy and had to pull myself up the stairs by the banister, or else I would have fallen backwards.
Oh my gosh, that must have been really frightening, huh?
It was. I just assumed it was exhaustion because it's almost the new year and Christmas, and I was preparing for the new semester. So probably not getting a lot of sleep anyways. So at the top of the stairs, I just went straight into the bedroom and flopped down on the bed.
Oh gosh.
And I actually felt myself sort of drifting away. And that's when this wave of terror came over me. I was terrified and used my Apple Watch to call emergency services.
Did you actually hit any buttons on the watch, or did you just said, hey, call 911?
No, I don't have Siri set up or anything, so I used the not the crown, but the
side button.
Yeah, the side button, and I just held it down, and after 5 or 6 seconds, I was connected to 911 dispatch.
Wow. And what did you just tell them? That you were tired, you couldn't get up, and something's wrong, and to send the paramedics?
Yeah, I took a stab in the dark, and I said, this is probably CO poisoning, and gave my address and lockbox code to get in the door. And he asked if I could get outside, and I said, no, I'm too weak. There's no energy.
So how did you know it was CO2 poisoning?
So CO2 is carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is the silent killer. I had a new heater put in November and had problems with it, with the pilot light going out. So, and the other clues were the fact that I had this dizziness, weakness, disorientation, couldn't smell anything. So there was nothing to smell. And couldn't taste anything in the air. So with those clues combined, that's how I knew it was CO poisoning.
Now, did you have any animals in the house?
Yeah, my cat, my 8-year-old Tabby, she was actually laying in bed with me.
So, gosh, it's hard to imagine what would have happened if you did not have that watch on you.
Exactly, because the phone was downstairs. There was absolutely no energy or life left in me to go downstairs to call 911.
And so the firefighters show up, and what happened after that?
Yeah, the firefighters showed up. They used the lockbox code, so they didn't have to break anything down. And they were stomping upstairs. Well, the gear's like 200 pounds anyway. So they were coming upstairs and shouting fire department. And I couldn't see them because my eyes were closed, but they yanked me out of bed. Yeah, they carried me outside. And there was a whole crew of them. So the one with the monitor, he was shouting from the living room to the fire chief that there were 80 parts per million in the air.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, did you have a long stay in the hospital?
About 24 hours in the emergency room, and about 15 of them were on high flow oxygen.
And then you came back to your house or apartment, and obviously the heater got fixed while you were gone, hopefully?
As far as I know, I came back around 3 o'clock in the morning. I was lucky to find an Uber. And when I went into the kitchen, I saw uh, evidence that there had been PVC pipes cut from the shavings on the kitchen floor going into the utility closet. And it looked like one of the pipes was rerouted. And then I saw next to the fire, the smoke detector, that there was a CO detector on the wall.
Which is so important because, as you know, and as you said, it's a silent killer. Having that CO detector in your home is paramount. And so it's probably safe to assume you're not going to take that watch off anytime soon, huh?
Just to recharge it.
Well, Natalie, thanks for being here and telling your story, because I bet we saved a whole bunch of lives and just relaying your experience, because it is a deadly killer. And fortunately, you had the tech right there to get instant help.
Yes. And my cat is doing great. The firefighters weren't able to capture her, to get her outside, but they locked her in the bedroom with an open window. So she was meowing for me when I got home.
Well, that was a great sound, I'm sure.
Yes, very welcome sound.
Natalie, thanks for being here. I'll tell you, that smartwatch is amazing. All right, let's switch gears and let's talk about ice and snow and cold. I mean, what is the magical number that spells trouble for smartphones? It's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need to protect your device from cold weather damage, because your phone's lithium-ion battery can lose its juice really quickly in low temps. So a protective case is good, but an insulated case is even better. These cases are designed specifically to keep your phone snug and warm, since most phones work best around a cozy 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, you never want to leave your phone in a freezing car or dropped in the snow. And whatever you do, don't think you're going to warm it up by blow drying it, or worse, putting it in a microwave. That is a definite don't. Let's talk about Google. Google knows your age, how much money you make a year, your gender, where you live, if you own a pet, what your politics are, and the list goes on and on and on, right? It's been said that there are at least 28,000 different tracking points on each and every one of us. And that number is actually infinite, because every time you go online, every time you do something, you add another tracking point. So here's how to see what Google knows about you and how to stop it if you're tired of the tracking. Now, first, when you Google something, Google uses that search to learn more about you. So whatever you type into Google is tracked and put into their databases. It does the same thing when you use YouTube, Gmail, anything else that Google owns. So remember, Google makes a lot of its money by selling ads. Now, you can see what Google knows about you at a special page. You can also remove things that you don't like on that list. And surprisingly, probably because they don't want the government involved, but Google makes it easy for you to see what they know about you and for you to also stop the tracking moving forward. So to take control back, here's where you go. adsettings.google.com. Once again, that's adsettings.google.com, adsettings.google.com. All right, let's see. Robert in Richmond, Virginia. Glad to have you with us.
Well, being an old guy, and I remember being a happy man when I got a typewriter back in college that erased backwards 10 spaces my senior year in business. And I'm doing a business plan, and I keep reading all about this artificial intelligence stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a new business plan, but I haven't done one to incorporate AI into it. And I'm looking for, I guess I need an AI to find the right AI.
That's funny. That's funny, Robert. So what kind of business are you going to do?
Oh, it's not big. We're forecasting cost us about $700K to start it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome.
And it's going to be servicing individuals and homeowners and businesses.
Well, good for you. I mean, isn't it just a wonderful country that we live in, right? That we're able to have a concept, bring it to fruition, and then make it a successful enterprise out of it that can, fund your retirement and your vacations and all that other good stuff, as well as leave a legacy for your family. Now, one of the beautiful things about artificial intelligence is that it does really assist when it comes time to write things down and to do analysis. And business plans fall right into that and presentations. Now,
Oh, yeah.
one of the things that I will caution you about is that you can't always trust what AI does. And so you have to really get in there and make sure that the facts are correct if it starts spitting things out. So the whole idea is that you can go to these one of these AI business plan generators, and then it asks you a series of questions, or you fill out a series of prompts, and then from that it spits out a document that you can then go edit, revise, but it's not like you're sitting there from scratch, and it's like you just wrote business plan in all capital letters and bold and underlined on the first page of a Microsoft Word document. And then you sit there and you go, you know what? This looks good. I need a beer, right? Because you're just wondering where to start. So there are a couple.
I've read before. I had to write them back in school. So
so then you have some experience on getting this done.
This is not my first rodeo writing one of these.
Well,
So,
awesome.
It's the financials. There's good software out there. Financial softwares has been around for a long time, and I took my first programming was on punch cards. I mean, I'm dating myself again, but it's funny how it goes, and it's always garbage in and garbage out. I don't care if they call it AI. A human touched it somewhere.
No, absolutely, 100%. So here are some sites for you to check out. Okay, one's called UpMetrics. UpMetrics. It has a business plan editor. It also helps you do financial forecasting. Now, the thing that kind of is a standout for this is that it does some pretty good analytics. And so that's one for you to check out. Another one's called the Live Plan. Instead of business plan, it's called the Live Plan. And it's kind of more of you may not need this. It's a step-by-step to create business pitches and business plans. And then it also gives you insights along the way. And then there's also another one called Visme, V-I-S-M-E. I always like to give people three options. Visme is really if your business plan is going to have a lot of visual elements. Let's get the viz, that's what it is. And so it does content creation designs as well as, like I said, it will really do a beautiful type of presentation. So you want to look at UpMetrics, Live Plan, and then Visme, V-I-S-M-E. And I'm sure you're going to find like this thing is just a total time saver. And do me a favor, after you select which one, just drop me a note because I'd like to hear how you did with it and which one that you thought was the best one for you. And again, thank you for your call today, Robert. Hey, if you need that list of AI business plan builders, we're going to put that in the newsletters, our free newsletters. So make sure that you sign up over at getkim.com. Once again, that address is getkim.com. All right, let's talk about public phone chargers. Okay, these are these charging kiosks in airports, hotels, and malls. They can be big time savers, but are they really bad for you? I mean, what can happen? Okay, actual cases of juice jacking are rare in the United States, but it can happen through USB connections. You may get some malware you can plug in and somebody can just download everything that's on your phone. So for 100% protection, just stay away from these USB ports, especially when you're traveling overseas. Don't use a cable at all. More and more public kiosks are using wireless charging, so that's a good thing to do. Now, if you are desperate, you can use a USB connection safely with the right cable. Pack a charge-only cable for your trip, not the one that does data transfers, just a charge-only cable. And don't choose the trust option because I don't want you to get into trouble. And you should always just be carrying an external battery. That's the best way to travel, whether you're here in the United States. So this way you just never run out of juice. If you're going to go on a plane, a solar charger is super duper because this way, anytime it has a light, you're getting a little bit more juice there. Mary Jo in Indianapolis, glad to have you with us.
Well, I have a question about our church setting up online payments for donations.
Okay.
We are at St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church, and we're an old congregation. It's 101 years old.
Oh, how beautiful.
And people are getting, up in age. We still just make our donations with a church envelope. You bring it to the church, and somebody actually physically counts the money, et cetera, and then takes it to the bank to be deposited. But we do have our children, like my grandchildren, I have a daughter in Seattle, she would still like to donate to the church. But there's no easy way to do it rather than her just mailing a check. So we're trying to figure out how are we going to be able to, upgrade our ways to donate to the church.
So, you could always put, the easy way is you could just put a donation form right on the website of the church. You can accept that through PayPal, and PayPal will take a credit card. So if somebody doesn't have a PayPal account, although I think everybody does, not everybody, a lot of people do have PayPal, that you could just take a PayPal donation like that. If you wanted to take it a step further, you could create a QR code. So when somebody, I actually saw this at a Catholic church recently, because I'm Catholic. And I saw they had a QR code by the candles. I thought that was funny. And so instead of just putting, $2 or $5 to light a candle for somebody, is that they're all that was gone. It was just a QR code. And the QR code said, you could give $5, $10, $25 or what for those candles. And I thought,
right. Because sometimes those candles, it all depends on how fast they burn, can be very expensive.
Yeah, and also it's easier because not too many of us carry around cash anymore, quite frankly. I don't.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine in Santa Barbara, and we'll go out and I'll say something. I want to buy something, and I try to use my phone, and she'll be like, "Don't worry, I got you, Kim. Here's $5, or $10, whatever it may be." Because I'm like, I just don't carry cash. I'm like, I will Venmo you that back. Okay, I swear. So when you start looking at this as a project, it's where you have to look at it, no pun intended, as a holistic solution. Okay.
Okay.
How much do you want to do this, and how far do you want to take it? Okay. And so, so it's not just donations from a QR code inside church. Maybe it's on the website. Maybe there are things in the gift shop, whatever it may be. That for now we're going to try to figure out how to take donations multiple places where maybe we didn't even think about before. And that's where
I never thought about that. We do have a gift shop.
Yes. So that's where, you have to look at every different touch point at St. Nicholas on how, where are the different ways that we can give. I mean, we don't want to put a QR code on St. Nicholas outside. Okay. Because that's tacky. Okay. We don't want to do that.
Okay.
But that would be funny. That would be funny. Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe there are other places where you have naming rights, right?
Okay.
And it's just, and then, the other thing about a QR code too is that you could have a QR code that would tell a story. So what I mean by that is that, you could put a QR code on St. Nicholas. But when somebody holds that up, it goes to a video about St. Nicholas and the history of the church. I know we're getting off. I know I'm getting off of
it's a long history. Yeah. I understand.
I'm getting off of just the donations. I'm just saying that because I was making fun of putting a QR code on St. Nick, but but there are things that you could use that for that the younger people would use and appreciate. The younger people, the younger population,
the younger parishioners, right?
So your basic start is you could use PayPal to accept these donations.
Okay.
Now, if you are looking at where you want to process these donations, you want to keep track of the donations, you want to, thank people, and maybe if we call them whales. If there's a whale in the midst, you're like, okay, well, we need to have a new chapel, and we're going to do donor matching. Then I want to be able to contact those people so I know who they are. And so that's where you look at, let me give you three options. One's called Donor Box, just like it sounds, Donor Box.
Right.
Another one's called Tithely, Tithe.
Tithely. Okay, sure.
And another one's called Give and then Lify, Givelify. There's a whole, I didn't know this until I became really involved in Phoenix. I go to a place called Mount Claret. If you're ever in Phoenix, Mount Claret is on the side of Camelback Mountain. And it's primarily a retirement retreat for priests and nuns and deacons.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's just beautiful. Let me tell you, Mary Jo, it's just stunning. And I'm a big supporter of the church and the chapel there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a quick story. Is that so? Deacon Tom came to me and said, we need to redo the chapel. Would you and your husband, help us out? And I, absolutely. What do you guys need? And so this has been, over several years we've been doing this. So about 3 years ago, we were there, and it was the deacon and two of the priests and the architect and the person who was in charge of all the donations. Okay. And they said, would you guys like to contribute? And I said, absolutely. And Barry said, yes, of course. And they were showing us all the plans and things like that. And then I said to them, does this come with naming rights? And they said, yes, of course. What would you like? And I said, well, what I would like is the Kim Commando Confessional, all case. And okay. And they you should have seen their faces, Mary Jo. They just went white. And then I started laughing, and you could see like they were all of a sudden relieved, like, thank God she was kidding. Oh,
yeah.
I'm
they were like, oh no.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so what do we say to this? KKK, Kim Commando Confessional. I'm not sure this is gonna work.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah.
It was just a joke. It was just a joke. Just trying to lighten things up. So anyway, take a look at DonorBox, Tidely, and Giveify, and then if you need any help afterwards, wondering, take it to the next step, whatever it may be. Mary Jo, just give me a call back, but also check out just doing a simple donation form using PayPal. And again, thanks for your call. All right, what would you do if you were lost? Your car runs out of gas. You're in a really dangerous situation and your phone's battery's almost dead. Okay, depending on what's going on, you should immediately call a friend, 911. But I want you to remember something. If you're in danger or you need help and your phone's battery is low, you might want to think about changing your voicemail greeting to give specifics such as where you're located, how you're hurt, describe what's happening, the direction you're going. Give specifics about a person or the people who are near you, because here's why. Even if your smartphone's battery is dead, callers will still hear your voicemail. So on your iPhone, tap voicemail greeting and then custom. If you're on Android, you can find the option in your phone app. And now I want you to share this know-how with everybody inside your family. And be sure to do me a solid. Tell 3 friends about the Kim Commando Show, because knowledge is power. Just a reminder, you can find me always at commando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
This episode is brought to you by CBS. DMV is a brand new workplace comedy turning misery into magic and chaos into comedy. Starring Harriet Dyer and Tim Meadows, DMV is here to serve you laughs. Watch Mondays at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Thank you for being a community member. Here's hour 2.
I always like to kick things off with something fun. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I like to walk. I walk a lot, sometimes 20 miles a week, 25 miles a week, sometimes even 30 miles a week. But have you ever thought about taking a super long walk? And when I saw this, I'm like, I would love to do this. Okay, this walk is 14,000 miles. It travels through 16 different countries, and it takes over a year to do it. I actually put this image of the map inside of one of our free newsletters that you can sign up for over at getkim.com. It's the longest path that you can walk, and it's all detailed on Google Maps. It starts in Cape Town, South Africa. It goes through the African desert. It goes across Egypt, goes across Turkey, and it ends way up in Russia. Yes, and Google Maps says that you can actually walk it. Well, there are parts where you need to take a ferry, but all in all, you can walk it. That's 14,000 miles, 16 different countries, over a year to do it. Not sure when I would do that, but it would be very, very challenging to say the least. And speaking of walking, what do you call 100 rabbits walking backwards? What do you call 100 rabbits walking backwards? Anyone? Anyone? This is a good one. You're going to want to remember this one. Okay. A receding hairline. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you can find my award-winning show across 425 fantastic radio stations in the United States. And if you want to listen on your own time, not a problem. You can find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast on Apple and Spotify. Just search for my last name, Komando, and make sure that you get the Kim Komando Show. And then you can support everything that we do and become a Komando community member. You get answers to your tech questions. We're going to start holding some online classes, I bet. And you also get the podcast commercial free. You can watch us do the show too. Super sweet. You're going to love it. And you can check out a free 30-day trial right now over at Komando.com. And a special hello goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries. Love that. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And I need two things from you, just two things. Number one, tell one person about this show. This is the easiest and best way for us to grow the show and the podcast. And number two, tell me what you want to hear more of, even if it's more corny jokes. Maybe not. You can do that by sending me a note over at Komando.com. There's a link that says email Kim. All right. Every single day I check out at least 35 different websites to make sure that you're up to date on all things digital. And here at the top of this hour, we're going to be talking about what's hot and what's not at the Consumer Electronics Show, because it just took place this past week in Las Vegas. I'm talking about 130,000 different visitors and 4,000 different exhibitors. Oh my gosh. So what was big? And every year, there's always something that's the big thing. And people always ask me, what was the biggest thing that you saw at CES? Well, the biggest thing is OpenAI's ChatGPT store. What? What did she just, not a TV? It's not a car. It's not a gadget. It's not a gizmo. It's not an appliance. Nope. It's OpenAI's ChatGPT store. I want you to think of it as a version of Apple's App Store. We're talking about customizable chatbots, or what's called GPTs. And this is going to change things because you can build chatbots for others to download and sell, much like an app. You can also buy one of these chatbots to use. So these chatbots can be designed to help you with work, write, create social posts, get maps, do complicated math, raise your kids. You get the gist. That was the big deal. Moving on to number two, let's talk about your house. Samsung has a new home robot. It looks like a bowling ball, and it's going to follow you all around when you call it, project videos and images on floors and walls using camera and lights. The main sell is that it's going to watch your pets and report what they're doing when you're away. Oh my gosh, no price yet. It's going to be super expensive. Spare me. All right, next up, you can use Philips' new Wi-Fi palm recognition smart deadbolt, recognize up to 50 unique paw prints to actually open your doors. It's got a retail for $360. I have one of these in my new house. Let me tell you, it works like 20% of the time. Samsung has something called a music frame. It's a speaker that's designed to have your favorite artwork or photo. There's no screen. It's a speaker that connects to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and even be part of your home theater system. So the whole idea is it saves space, and it actually is kind of a cool thing. Moving on to number 3, flying cars and what's going on with cars. Volkswagen is putting ChatGPT in its cars via voice recognition. So the car's just not going to listen for your commands or navigation or whatever it may be. You can ask it ChatGPT knowledge questions, and you're going to get the answers right from your car's voice system. And Volkswagen actually said it's going to enhance communications. Enhance communications? What was that? Yeah? Okay. I guess calling your family members and friends in your car is not that good. Speaking of flying cars, Hyundai says that they're going to have a flying car with 5 passengers going about 1,500 feet above the ground in 2025. I don't ever see that happening in 2025. Just saying. Lamborghini has a new telemetry X tech. This tech is going to monitor the driver's blood pressure, heart rate, and stress levels when you're going that fast in your Lamborghini. All right, number 4, we're going to talk health game changers. This is really something. It's called the Gyro Glove. It's designed to help folks with Parkinson's manage their tremors. It has a gyroscopic motor right on the back of the glove. It's hooked up to a battery pack, and its whole job is to keep a person's hand stable and upright. Now, folks who need it say it's already helping them with their daily tasks like drinking coffee, writing, and a whole bunch more. This is really amazing. Neurologic released their smart mirror. And what it does, when you look at the mirror, it's going to look at your BMI, your blood pressure, stress levels. This mirror, $7,000. What? It says it even can predict if you're going to become a diabetic. And finally, this coming in at number 5, Kohler has the Pure Wash bidet seat. It's hooked up to Alexa and Google Assistant. So this way you can just ask your virtual assistant to crank up the water pressure and make the seat warmer. $2,000. Yes, you're going to have the cleanest tush in the land for that. And there's also the Flush app. It's like Airbnb, but for bathrooms. Businesses list their restrooms. When nature calls, you can check the app, pay a fee, and you get access to a clean private bathroom. Okay. Why? I guess that's important, a new way for everybody to make money. So where is the best place for you to store your data? I know, I see you. Yes, the cloud, the cloud. Well, let me tell you something. The cloud is one way, but the ultimate backup is literally out of this world. How about the moon? That's right. The moon. Today joining us, we have Chris Stott. He's the CEO of a Florida-based startup called Lone Star. Now, the reason why this is so interesting to me is, yes, they are actually putting data on the moon. NASA and Lone Star are about ready to place these backup servers on the moon. So, Chris, thanks for being here. And let's start at the beginning. Why build a data center on the moon?
Oh, well, thank you, Kim. Thank you for having us. And we think it's the best place to do this. Think of all the data we create on Earth every day. Well, 2.5 quintillion bytes of new data every day.
Wow.
That's an exabyte a day, more than yesterday. That's 1,000 petabytes. Or another way to think about it, that's a million brand new MacBook Pros full of data every 24 hours. And we store it down here where everything happens. And the idea is that maybe if we store it elsewhere, we store it up there, it's safer.
So why is the moon good for this?
Well, the nice thing is it's our natural satellite, Earth's largest satellite. It's close enough yet far enough away to use. It is a beautiful, stable platform. It's in orbit around the Earth. One side of the moon always faces the Earth, hence the near side, far side, dark side. And it's got natural cooling, free solar energy, and it's incredibly stable. And for radiation, it's a fantastic shield on one half. And then again, as you're looking at the Earth, you see every single country once every 24 hours.
So how do you get the data up there?
Yeah, we're lucky. We're working with some incredible providers who are part of the NASA CLPS program, Commercial Lunar Payload Services. We're working, which is part of Artemis, the sister of Apollo, to return to the moon. And we're working with a company called Intuitive Machines out of Houston, Texas, an incredible group of professionals who are building these lunar landers. And they're flying on, or launching on with SpaceX on a Falcon 9. And our first mission heads up in the middle of February. We're just waiting on final dates as we speak.
And what kind of data is going to be on board?
No, yeah, thanks. I mean, so it's interesting. So it's all very heavily regulated and everything else. And we're looking at these first tests of non-regulated data. State of Florida, very, very avant-garde, leveraging 60 years of sunk investment in space here in Florida, is our first customer. They're taking some state data up there, actually a map of the national parks and state parks and more. But the data we're taking up on these missions eventually is everything that we use down here day to day. But the data that we're taking up at first is some stored data on this first mission, and then we're sending some very unique documents, transmitting them in flight to and from the lander as it goes to the moon, as it orbits around the moon, and after it lands on the moon too. There's some pretty cool documents we're going to be sending there and back, like refresh or restore on a time machine on an Apple Mac.
Who do you have to get permission from to use the moon as storage?
Oh, absolutely. No, the hardest thing about getting to space, Kim, is getting permission. These days, the rockets are the easy part. Oh, I hope I don't get struck by lightning for saying that. But rockets are the easy part. No, space is the most regulated of all of human activities. And so when you're putting anything into space, you have to be licensed in terms of the spectrum you use. Your listeners on radio as well, we'll get this. It's like having a radio station license to talk to things in space, and also then permission to launch and operate. There's a treaty called the 1967 Outer Space Treaty with the United Nations. It's like an incredible capsule. Great read, actually. It's fascinating about astronaut rescue and liability and registration and what you can or cannot do on the moon. And Neil Armstrong purposefully triggered the treaty when he landed on the moon. You remember his first words? It's so cool. I love this because I'm a space law guy, and it's just a history buff thing too. He said, "Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed." So he actually declared a base under a clause in the treaties on how to do this. And so when you land on the moon, no one owns the moon. No one owns any celestial body. You can't own Mars, you can't own Venus, you can't own the moon. Because technically the Soviets were the first to land on the moon. We were the first to put people on the moon, right? Little subtle difference there. So the idea was you couldn't, in the middle of the Cold War, say the moon was yours. Could you imagine walking outside in the 60s, looking up and seeing communists on the moon? I mean, right? It was terrible. I mean, we kind of have that today. China is doing so many things on the moon. Even as you and I talk, they're active on the moon. But the idea being that when you land on the moon, it's not sovereign. But when you go, you're licensed. And they want to make sure you're using a proper rocket, proper lander, how are you disposing of things, what kind of materials, fuel you're using, all of these things, right? You go there, and as you land, it's like landing, say, an American lander. It's like landing Washington, D.C. on the moon. That is under American jurisdiction, supervision, continuing regulation. And yet, say, a Japanese rover on board. Well, that's like a Japanese embassy on board. It's under Japanese control and control and liability and all these things under the treaties. It's fascinating how it works. But it works. And that's the important part. Oh, no, you can't just casually go to the moon or anywhere in space.
Right.
Yes. Like James Bond villain stuff, not that we have billionaires with private islands and rocket ships, but yes.
So are these data centers on the moon, are they going to be doing any type of experiments?
Yes, we're going to be doing, so these first two test flights, the first one, like I said, is just going to be transmitting documents in flight, some digital storage. And the fun thing is the first document we're transmitting, I'm a proud American citizen, despite my funny accent. Old-fashioned type, I swam here. My arms are still tired, right? And so the first one we're sending, we thought we have to do something significant. We have to do something that is meaningful. This is the first document purposefully transmitted off planet for storage. And so we're sending the Declaration of Independence with full permissions and everything. And then the first documents we're pulling back are the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We thought that was the most appropriate thing to do. What's the first document ever stored on the moon? Well, that would be the Declaration of Independence. Always awesome.
I have to tell you, when you just said that, I got chicken skin.
Thank you.
I think this is so fabulous, Chris, what you're doing. I'm so excited to hear more about the launch when it actually happens. And, it's when I read about the moon being used as a backup, at first I was like, come on, and then I dug a little deeper, and I really think it's a wonderful experiment, wonderful thing that you're doing. And thanks for being here and sharing your story. And do keep us posted on the progress, please.
Oh, Kim, thank you. I shall do. And please come see our Mission Control here in Tampa, St. Pete, and maybe come out to one of the launches sometime.
I'd love to do that. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. I never thought I'd be talking about saving data on the moon. Never, ever, ever. All right. Cable and phone companies, along with ISPs, don't want you to know there's a secret way that you can save big money on your monthly bills. I want you to put your service on hold for 30 days or more. It's called vacation hold, or sometimes it's called seasonal hold. And this is when your provider is going to pause your phone, your internet, or your TV when you're not at that location. You don't need to return any equipment, change a thing. You get to keep that email address. You get to keep that phone number when the service is on hold too. There are no reactivation fees too. So this is a great option if you're a snowbird, if you have a second home, extended hospital stays, if you're traveling for a month or more. What you want to do is, again, just call your provider and ask for a vacation hold or seasonal hold. Sometimes they charge like $5 or $10, but it's definitely worth it. And before we get back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about your iPhone. Your iPhone is really a professional camera. I mean, you might be sitting there, well, why do sometimes my videos just come out blurry? Well, you use the wrong settings, silly. There's a simple reason why your iPhone footage isn't crisp like you see in commercials and movies. The reason is that high quality video requires a lot of data, and it's super difficult to send over, say, a text, an email, or even just to upload wirelessly. So Apple automatically makes your videos a lower quality format. But if you want to be a film pro, you have to use higher quality settings. So with an iPhone 13 and higher, what you're going to want to do is head into your iOS settings. Under the settings, I want you to tap camera and then formats. And that's where you're going to find Apple ProRes. Again, that's Apple ProRes. Just switch that baby on. Then once you want to shoot a video, you have to manually turn it on each and every time. I know it's kind of a hassle. Again, just tap that ProRes button, and that's how you upgrade your phone's video settings automatically and on the fly. All right, let's see. Judy in San Antonio, Texas. Glad to have you with us.
Well, my husband and I are snowbirds, and we're originally from Montana. We're down in Texas, and we're working on a ranch. It's work camping. And the owners sold the ranch, and there are new owners, but we're still working on the ranch. Okay. But the new owners want to pay us with something called Stripe, and I'm not familiar with that. I was just wondering if you know anything about it, and is it secure?
So they want to pay you via Stripe?
Right. Yeah. And so they created an account for the ranch and then send us an invitation or something, I think, and then we get on there and then it automatically will deposit. It's like an automatic deposit,
yes,
or maybe
is.
Like Venmo or something.
Well, it's the reason why I'm questioning Stripe is more of a, I have something to sell, okay? Mm-hmm. And do you remember like years ago we'd have bank merchant fees? And in order for you to take a credit card is that you had to say like, put $20,000 in an account or whatever. But Stripe allows small businesses, large businesses to accept payments via credit card, okay? Venmo is more of a person-to-person payment system. So the only reason why I'm wondering why they're using Stripe versus Venmo is, which I guess maybe Stripe is now in the PayPal business. I haven't checked it out that far, but maybe they are. But it is reputable. It's been around for a long time. Like I said, they take credit cards, debit cards, ACH payments, and all these other, but it's primarily for you to get paid, not for you to pay somebody else. But that said, it can go both ways, I'm sure. I would just have some questions. Okay. Is that Stripe will charge transaction fees? Who gets, I just want to make sure that if you're getting paid $100, that for every 100, you are actually getting $100. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, when do you get your money? And are they going to hold it back for 24 hours or do you get it that same day? Okay. And, of course, wire transfer is always the best, from bank to bank. But if they don't want to do that, maybe I don't know who the new owners are or why they're using Stripe, but I would Stripe is legit. Don't get me wrong. I just want to make sure that if you are getting paid $100, that they're not taking out any transaction fees, because Stripe will charge a transaction fee. And also, when do you get your money? Those would be my two big questions. And if there are any transaction fees or delays in you getting your money, then I would request a wire transfer. You could always do a check and take it down to the bank. Old school way, I know. Or Venmo or Zelle or something like that is always a good way to go too. Judy, thank you for your call today. All right, let's see. In Indianapolis, Indiana, Milo, you're next.
I am calling because I have an ongoing frustration. I have a small business. We have a website. It's a simple website. We don't even do online sales. But a couple years ago, it got hacked. And for 2 days, it pretended like it was a bank. And we discovered it, and we recovered our site and cleaned it all up. But immediately, it was marked down as a malware or a bad site. Mm-hmm. And we have tried to go to popular antivirus sites and say, hey, we're cleaned up. And everyone's different, and you fill out their forms, and it just goes into the ether. And years later, like I just got Total AV, somebody's newsletter I know, suggested it. But again, it says my website's a dangerous site. And I can click and go to it, and it works. But my customers are not going to do that. And so I'm frustrated trying to get them to recognize that my site is okay.
And what do you mean somebody's newsletter? Where'd you get? Come on.
Well, I have this wonderful person, Kim Commando, has a really nice newsletter, and one of her sponsors, I think, is Total AV.
I know. And I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know.
All right. So first of all, shame on you for getting malware on your domain. That means you weren't keeping everything all up to date, which you will never do that again.
It turned out it was somebody we were hiring to back end, whatever. I'm not good at this, but we got different people, and we got more security, and our backups weren't even good, and all sorts of stuff. That part we've cleaned up, but we're still blacklisted.
Yes. Yeah, it's really hard to get off this blacklist. It's called the DNSBL. DNSBL. It's a domain name system black hole list. Okay.
Blacklist. Sure.
Yes. And so basically what it does is it goes out and it tells everybody on the internet that Milo is malware, and you should never go anywhere near Milo. He's like that guy, that family member that everybody talks about, and nobody likes him.
That's right.
Nobody likes you, Milo. And it's all like, he used to be a nice guy. And we don't know what happened. He was all right.
This is sounding way too close to home.
Things went wrong. Okay. Maybe he'll turn his life around someday. Maybe. So what you have is there's a list of addresses out there, and you can remove yourself from this blacklist. But as you said, it becomes almost like whack-a-mole after a while. So your best way to handle all this is for you to pay somebody to do it.
Okay.
Because they have the tools, they have the contacts, they have everything that you don't have, including time and effort and energy and experience in order to do this. There's a company called RackAid. That's RackAide, RackAid. Okay. And they will monitor and they'll also remove your domain from blacklists. You can do it yourself, and I'll send you some links on how to do it yourself, just to make sure you're doing it the right way. But sometimes it's just worth paying somebody to do these things.
I've tried to do, and like I had Kaspersky, and I got tired of it. I shut it off. Customers aren't going to shut it off.
No.
That just gets my irritation level down.
No, and it's sometimes it seems unfair, and I get this.
It's hard
because
I understand they have to err on the side of caution, but how do I? Yeah,
exactly. So I'm going to put you on hold. Lovely Amber screening today, and screen our calls. And so Amber, if you could send Milo. I'm going to call you Malware Milo from now on.
Oh, great.
Nice. Send Malware Milo some links that I can put up there for him. And then this way he kind of walk you through exactly how to get yourself off the blacklist, and then how to pay somebody else to make sure that it's done for good. And this serves as a reminder for everybody who's listening right now. And if you have a server for your domain and you're like, wow, I haven't checked that out for years. Well, now's the time. Make sure that all of that security stuff is all up to date. And if you have an IT person on board, make sure that they have it as well. And make sure you check out your domain. I'll tell you, I have so many people I hear from like, well, I used to have a domain. I didn't look at it for 10 years. And I went there and it was a spam site. Okay. Don't let that happen to you. Do not be Milo. I'm just kidding you, Milo. I love you. Poor Milo. Now, everybody in his family is going to be calling Malware Milo. Okay. All right. Streaming is so expensive, isn't it? Oh, it's so annoying. I mean, 5 years ago, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu would cost you around $56 a month. The same service is now $110 a month. It's just outrageous. Okay. So you're ready to save. Here's how to do it. Get creative. If you are still paying for all those sports add-ons and you don't look at them, you don't watch them, get rid of them. Focus on what you watch the most. If you're not watching anything on Netflix, just cancel it until you find something that you do like on it. Maybe you might want to watch some ads. Streaming companies are desperate to keep you and get free or cheaper options if you want to put up with commercials. Also, take a look at all of what you are paying for. I use Rocket Money. It's a sponsor of our podcast, and it will comb through everything and tell you what you're paying for as far as streaming access. You can also look at your bank statements to find all your streaming charges. You might want to think about getting an antenna. We have some information about that on the website. Also, look at their freebies. Pluto TV, the Roku channel, even YouTube. There's a lot of free stuff for you to watch. We have a list of this with more details. Just head over to commando.com, and when you're there, hit that link that says Show Picks. All right, let's see. Ryan in Provo, Utah. You're up next.
So something I've been wondering about, if you think back like 20 years ago or more, when I took a picture of something, I'd have, of course, a piece of paper in front of me, a photograph, and I'd flip it over and I'd write down things on it, like the names of people in it or the place or why the picture was important to me. And I'm wondering, what's the digital equivalent of that today? Like, how do I note the pictures I'm taking on my phone? So like my kids will know why it's important.
So this way you can say, okay, this is Grandma, this is, Aunt May's, and she's making dandelion wine or whatever it may be.
Exactly, yeah.
What kind of gear are you using?
Just, my iPhone.
Okay. Well, on your iPhone, you have something called the Photos app, right? You're so familiar with it, I'm sure.
Sure.
When you select a photo, you can actually add details. A lot of people don't know this, is that if you swipe up on the photo, there's an I, you know what the I stands for? Information, yes. And that's where you can add things like names, locations, events, things that you want to remember. And then it also allows you to search. So if you wanted to find, every picture about Aunt May, that you could go ahead and do that, or something that was between a year or a place or an event or whatever it may be. And then also don't forget that on your iPhone, it has this wonderful thing called facial recognition, right? And so you can find somebody's face, and then hopefully it will go out and then categorize and put everybody under that face. Although it is kind of interesting to me, Ryan, that sometimes it picks up pictures of my son Ian as me, and I guess that makes sense, But it's like, no, he's like 6'2" and I'm 5'5", okay, and he's a guy and I'm a girl, but that's all right. So you could try that again. Just want to use the I, and then if you find that maybe that's not enough for you, that there are certainly apps that will do things that will allow you to add more details. Sometimes it's called the metadata. And you can also change the date and time of the photos, and using these apps like Slidebox is one that's pretty popular. Another one's called Metapho. But the whole idea is that you can still have those good old days where you can look at a photo and then actually say, oh, this is who this is. And hopefully, 20, 30 years from now, that there'll be a way to read that I, right?
Right.
So, so sometimes it's the way that if I really want to preserve something is that I kind of go really old school, is that I make a coffee table book. And so maybe it's my mom's 80th birthday party, which I've been working on lately, is to create a photo album of the event and to put details in there because, I don't know what storage is going to look like 5 to 10 years from now. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to have books, right? I hope so too. Okay, if AI doesn't take over and we all become, the side effects of robotic evolution or revolution, or we want to call it. So, if there are memories that you really hold dear to your heart, is that I would encourage you to actually put them out together as a photo book. You can use like MPix, Shutterfly, any of those sites that will allow you to do that. But again, on your iPhone, just go ahead and use the I for information. If you're using Google Photos, it has a similar tool built right in there as well. And Ryan, thank you for your call today. The other day I was on an airplane. I want to see how many photos I had on my iPhone. Care to guess? Guess how many photos I have on my iPhone? Oh my gosh. 34,622. It's like, oh, geez. Wow. And it's all organized. Not really. I just lied. Have you ever wondered what happens to orders that the USPS and Amazon can't deliver? It gets sold online, sometimes at really cheap prices. One website to check is govdeals.com. They have USPS contracts to auction undelivered goods. Once again, that's govdeals.com. Now, you're not bidding on some mystery box. You actually see photos and descriptions of each item, so that's good. Another website to check is liquidation.com. Is that you can filter by brand and retailer. It's not just Amazon and USPS. You actually have Target, Walmart, and Home Depot. Now, there are some downsides. Everything may not be in a pristine condition, and there's no way to return it. The sites again, govdeals.com and liquidation.com. Hey, thanks for joining me. Don't forget, 24/7, you can always find me on the website. That's commando.com.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Thank you for being a community member. Here's hour 3.
Have you heard of something called a sludge video? Sludge video. I didn't know what it was. Maddie, who's one of our show producers here, she came to me the other day. She goes, do you know what a sludge video is? I'm like, I have no idea. She said, it is blowing up TikTok. Okay. A sludge video looks like this. It's split screen videos that pair a couple of unrelated videos at once. So instead of just watching one video, you could be watching like 4 videos or just 2 videos. So like you'd be watching like some guy tell you how to fry an egg on the left-hand side, while the right-hand side, you're watching The Sopranos at the same time. And apparently Gen Z is totally hooked on it. I don't know if I could do that. Could you do that? I'm not sure. Speaking of Gen Z, I was going to tell my Gen Z son, Ian, a joke about Social Security, but I didn't because he's probably not going to get it. Oh, you get that, right? Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're the first time joining us, a warm welcome. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. You look smashing, darling. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 425 stations across the United States. And you can also find the Kim Commando Show as a podcast on Apple and Spotify. And you can also support everything that we do by becoming a Commando community member. It's exclusive. You get answers to your tech questions. We're going to start holding some online classes, and you can also get the podcast commercial free. And you can also get a 30-day free trial right now over at commando.com. And a special hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. And from all of us here at the Kim Commando Show, a Happy New Year to everyone on the American Forces Network Radio. Our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. All right, this past week was the big Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, right? We're talking about 130,000 people going to Las Vegas, 4,000 different exhibits. Oh my gosh. And I don't know if it's still true, but it used to be that the week that CES was there is that gambling would take a dump. But you know what rose in revenues the week? Prostitution. Not sure if that's still the case. But let's talk about what CES was all about. Okay, TVs, always big. Imagine turning off your flat screen and it simply disappears. It goes transparent, no longer dominating the room. LG and Samsung have announced transparent TVs, and LG actually demonstrated theirs live. It's a 77-inch, truly transparent wireless OLED screen. I'm talking about no cables. Okay. No HDMI cables, nothing physically connecting this thing to the wall. They call it a zero connect wireless transmission box that hides nearby, beaming these visuals and sound to the screen. You can move the screen anywhere, just even in the middle of the room. The price, you ready for this? $88,000. Whoa. Okay. Pet tech was also big at CES. For $799, the Oro dog companion robot will play with your dog when you're not around. It's like a smart nanny, two-way audio so you can talk to your dog and the dog can bark back. There's a treat dispenser. It will also feed your dog. Let me think about this. If you really need this for your dog, you probably shouldn't own a dog. Now, what about the cat lovers? There's the Flappy. Yes. This thing stops the cats from dragging in any dead mice or anything else that they want to bring inside the house. There's a motion sensor, night vision camera, and the AI, they say, is smart enough to recognize over 90% of the time when your cat's trying to sneak in some unwanted gift for you. Flappy is going to cost $399. All right, moving along. Now, if you're one of those guys or gals that you just totally miss your BlackBerry phone, this one's for you. It's a tactical keyboard coming back. You can use it on your iPhone. It's the Clicks keyboard from Clicks Technology. It lets you strap on a keyboard on your phone. I know people who would actually really, really dig this. My friend Scott, who's a lawyer, is still lamenting. I had dinner with him recently, still lamenting that he had to give up his BlackBerry. I'm going to have to buy this for him. $139. Do you hate when your phone just can't fit in your pocket? Why not just get the super bendy phone that's called the Flex In and Out Flip from Samsung? Folds over in 2 directions, including backwards, and it even works when it's bent. Not sure how long that one will last, but you can actually put that in your pocket. Now there's also the Belkin Auto Tracking Stand Pro. I tried one of these long ago from some Chinese knockoff, and I think this one's actually going to make a lot more sense. It's going to probably work better too. Here's how it works. You pop your phone on the stand and you turn on camera mode, and then the stand tilts and keeps in your frame as you move around. That's for content creators, they say, for $180, or for people like me that I like to talk and walk and do the laundry and clean the kitchen and all this other stuff. And so I'm going to have to try this again. Once again, it's called the Belkin Auto Tracking Stand Pro. Let's talk about fitness stuff. You can check your heart rate from your bra. Garmin has a solution for anybody who wears sports bras, they say. It's about $150. It snaps onto the bottom band of your bra. I don't really know who's going to buy this. Now we also have earbuds that can monitor your heart rate and your temperature when you exercise. Kind of like how you take your heart rate with the Apple Watch, but now it's happening inside your ear. It connects with all of your favorite health apps. It's expensive, $330. There's also the Lifespan Under Desk Bike. Okay, I don't have enough coordination to do this, but maybe you do. It lets you work out and power up your gadgets simultaneously. Pedaling at 60 RPMs generates 60 watt hours of electricity to charge your laptops and your phone. So this way you're getting exercise and you're charging everything else. Has a 15 watt wireless charger beneath the saddle for 2 devices at once, $1,220. Okay. There's a Canadian startup by Gluxkind. It rolled out an AI-based self-driving baby stroller. $2,400. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. For $2,400, you're going to strap your precious little infant into this self-driving AI powered stroller. And as it goes along, it's going to rock your baby. It's going to play soft music. So what would stop the baby from just rolling away? Well, it has a camera in front of the stroller to detect if a person is in front of it, a dog, a car, whatever it may be. So if you don't want to actually push the stroller, you don't have to. You can just put your newborn in it and just walk alongside or behind it, knowing that AI is going to protect your little cherub from getting run over. Okay. Who would ever buy such a thing? I'm going to tell you this. When Tesla can go 2 years without someone dying in one of its self-driving cars, I might take a look at the smart baby carriage. Maybe. When I read about this story, I just knew that you guys and gals would want to know more about it along with me. And let's go back first now to 2013. That's when Navy veteran 59-year-old Donnie Irwin, he left his house to pick up some cigarettes, and he's in rural Missouri. Here's the problem. he never came back. So for more than 10 years, no one really knew what happened to him. He just vanished. It was a cold case. His family, though, never stopped searching, but they didn't turn up anything, no luck at all. They could not find Donnie. So I want you to fast forward to a gentleman by the name of James Hinkle. Now, he's a local drone pilot, a volunteer scuba search and recovery diver. And then James started searching for Donnie. And he documents all of this on his fabulous YouTube channel, by the way. It's called Echo Divers. And now, for a full year, James spent all of his time off trying to find anything that he could about Donnie. And after 10 years using his drone, this is really amazing. James found Donnie's car in a pond not more than 3 miles away from Donnie's house. So James is here to tell us all about what happened. So first of all, what sparked your interest in trying to find Donnie?
Well, my interest actually sparked, not necessarily in this case, but a case that happened in 1991. A girl by the name of Angela Hammond was actually abducted from my hometown of Clinton, Missouri. I was actually volunteered and was on the search team that was conducted. Now, fast forward to almost 10 years, or several years later, I come across the story of a veteran that had gone missing. And I just started kind of following the case and looking into it. And before I knew it, I had Google Maps and Google Earth open, and I was looking for, wow, where did this guy go?
Well, bring us back to the day when you actually found the vehicle.
The day that I found the vehicle was December 14th. I'd actually gone over to Camdenton, Missouri, and was driving Donnie's route that he possibly could have taken to the convenience store where he was going to go make a purchase. And what I was doing is I was taking my Mavic 3 Pro and flying it in areas that possibly a car could have gone off the road. The plan at that point was to actually fly over small bodies of water to see if we could actually see down inside the water and see if we could spot a vehicle. And whenever I actually came to the location where we found Donnie's vehicle, it was my second to the last stop. After that, I was heading home.
Oh, wow. So you saw the car on the footage from the drone video on your phone or on the controller. Did you recognize it as a car immediately?
Whenever I flew over the pond, I seen something that was a different color than what the bottom of the pond or the color of the water was. And it was lighter in color. So that was the first thing that really caught my eye. And then I flew in, dropped in, and got a little bit closer, and I could see it was obviously some sort of squared off object, which is, when we're looking for vehicles, that's one thing that we're looking for, is we're looking for that unnatural shape in the water, which, nature doesn't necessarily produce a lot of square angles. So I seen that, and I was like, I think this might be a car. One thing that happened is, as I was over the car, the SD card that I had in the drone actually was full at that point.
Oh.
So I actually brought the drone back in, put a new card in, and flew it back. But this time I actually walked down to the pond with following the drone down so that I could see if I could get my own eyes on this object in the water. And standing next to the bank, I actually could not see the car.
Wow.
So if you were standing there and you didn't have eyes in the sky like I did, you would have never known or ever seen that car in that water. But I walked down there, watched the drone get closer to the water, and was able to get some shots. I could actually see what I thought was an antenna sticking up only inches above the water.
Wow.
Needless to say, I was a little shocked. That's probably an understatement, but that's the best way to describe it. I was a little shocked that I was like, wow, this looks like what could be a car in the water.
So once you actually identify and mark the car, then is that when the state investigators got involved?
Well, at that point, myself and the landowner had a very short conversation. The equipment that I carry on the kayak, the sonar actually gives me a temperature reading of the water, and the water was in between 40 to 45 degrees. And the scuba equipment that I have isn't the proper equipment or exposure chute to be in that cold of water. So at that point, I decided that there was no need for me to put myself in danger. Besides, I knew the fire department, Mid-County, had their own dive team, and they would probably be the ones that would come in and have to hook up and pull the car out. So at that point, we had a short conversation. I basically told the landowners, like, hey, these conditions aren't right. Plus, my dive buddy could not make it that day. So you never dive alone. That's just one of the rules we follow for safety. Plus, I didn't have the proper equipment to dive in that temperature of water. So he went ahead and contacted law enforcement. And as soon as they heard car in the water, they immediately activated their dive team. So it's like everybody kind of showed up almost all at the same time. And then at that point, I basically took a step back. Camden County Sheriff's Department, they welcomed me to stay and watch the rest of the operation from that point. So at that point, I watched these experts and these heroes crawl into some very cold, nasty water, and were able to go in and confirm that it was Donnie's vehicle.
Wow, that's such an amazing story, really. Hey, thanks for being here telling your story, really, and it's an inspiration for everyone. Thank you, James. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about freebies, because I know that you and we all love free stuff. And that's why there are Buy Nothing project groups on Facebook and Nextdoor or the official app. They got a lot of things that you can get for free, like furniture, baby clothes, sewing machines, what I saw the other day. And then you can also make requests for things that you do want. Maybe some outdoor lights. I saw a basketball net. I saw a recliner. Now you can download the Buy Nothing project app in the Apple or Google Play Store, or just search Facebook by using Buy Nothing in the name of your town. You can also find similar posts in the Nextdoor app. Just be smart about this, okay? Usually you have to go to someone's house. Don't go by yourself. Bring a friend or meet in a public place or even at the police station. But let's talk about artificial intelligence, okay? You know, there's so many things you can do with AI. Now, when my mother passed away, before she passed away, she said, Kim, you are now in charge of the family. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not. You're not doing that to me. And she said, no, you are now the family matriarch. So what that means is that whenever anybody has an issue in the family, they call me. So member of the family got some bad news about her hearing. And she sent me the records from her hearing test, because for some reason she can't hear out of her right ear. And so I was like, I don't know how to read hearing tests from the Mayo Clinic. I have no idea what it is. So I blocked out her name and all of her personal identifiable information. And I uploaded the test results to ChatGPT and said, can you explain this to me in plain English? Okay. And it basically came back and said, she's in bad shape. And I'm like, can we do a supplement? Is there anything else that we can do? I mean, aside from prednisone shots, and then not trusting that, is that I have a friend who went to Harvard and is a Rhodes Scholar in Georgetown, just super smart. And I said, I know this is not your specialty, but what do you think? And he basically said the same thing. And, you know, this is something that I want you to think about. I mean, AI, it's more than just, you know, can you answer a math problem, or can you help me write something? There are things that you can do, especially now, because it's the beginning of the year. We want to start making more money. That's always a big goal, and we want to do that with our businesses. And joining us is our amazing content queen, Allie Seligman. Hello there, Allie.
Hi, Kim.
So AI, you and I both use it quite a bit.
We sure do.
ChatGPT.
Yep.
Bard.
Yep.
And then there's a whole slew of other ones that have popped up. And have you noticed, have you tried to like give the same question to different AI bots to see who could give you the better? Because I've started doing that, and it's quite fascinating, isn't it?
It really is, and the answers can be very, very different. And it almost seems like, okay, you're good at this, you're good at this one's good at this. And once you know that, okay, great. That's kind of a shortcut, because you know, all right, if I need this kind of thing, I'm going to go to Bard. If I need this kind of thing, I'm going to go to ChatGPT. If I want this, I'm going to go to Perplexity, whatever it is.
Yeah, I've noticed that ChatGPT over the last week hasn't been very smart.
Maybe it's having an off week.
I think it is, or something's going on where they are putting in a lot of disclaimers.
Oh, interesting.
And
maybe the lawyers are nervous.
I think that's what's going on. All right. So, but we're going to talk about business.
We are indeed.
Because we always have, everybody wants to make that their life easier. They want to make more money. They want to be more productive. We want to work less. We want to take more walks. So how can AI help us accomplish all of this and make our thighs thinner and give us more hair at the same time?
Yes. Well, I don't want to get into this and say, okay, you have to know all of this really technical stuff to make this work for you. And if you're listening and worried like, Kim, Allie, I don't even know how to get to these things. What do I do? Okay, first, go to getkim.com, sign up for the current newsletter, and I'm going to send out direct links to all of these and a little here's how, just to show you how easy that is. Because it really is as easy as using Google, right? You just type stuff in.
It is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get freaked out because they're thinking like, I don't know. I don't have a programming degree. I don't know how it is. It's kind of like we're moving from having a search site like Google to having search answers. Really.
Yeah, that's such a good way to say it. And if you know how to use Google, if you do stuff on your smartphone, you can use AI. I promise you. The first one on my list that you should do with your business is actually what Kim just said. Use it for things that you don't know. You don't know how to do, or maybe that you aren't very good at. So, Kim, surprised you didn't know how to read hearing tests? Okay.
I didn't have any. And they were like, let me tell you, they were charts with like little boxes and triangles and lines and going like up and down and up and down. And, I guess she thinks I'm like super smart in everything, but I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, you're the matriarch. That's what happens. But
Exactly.
Isn't that amazing, right? It read those really complex things. And so think about all the stuff that it could do for you and your business. It can analyze data, which is really cool. You can say, all right, I have all these reports. I don't know what they mean. Okay, put them in. And Kim, really smart thing you did. You took out the confidential information. So if there's anything in there that you wouldn't want anyone else to see about your business, please take it out. But it really is a good way to analyze things. But it can be anything, right? It can write your social media posts if you're bad at that. You can send a link to your Yelp page and say, hey, help me make this listing better. I'm a plumber and it's not very good. Or my website stinks. What can I write here? It can give you ideas for marketing. It can do things like make graphs and charts and stuff that you just might not know how to do. So think about that. All these things, skills you wish you had, AI can do it for you.
Well, you talk about data analysts. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things that Jeremy taught me, one of our IT geniuses, is he always stresses to me and to you in the meetings, is that let the data speak. Because as a business owner and as a marketing expert, you're always like, my gut tells me to do this. And, and I know that I have a feeling that this is going to be the best way to do it. But maybe your feeling's off.
Yes, it happens, right? And we hope most of the time, and we, as we try different things, our gut feeling kind of changes and maybe we get in line with the data. But yeah, sometimes we're totally wrong and we wouldn't know if we didn't test things out and look at what actually works.
Well, see, that's one of the things that I have challenged Jeremy with is to use AI to analyze our newsletter data and to say, of course we can do A/B testing, and that's old school.
Oh yeah,
Okay, that's like we're way past that. We want to be able to look at the newsletters and look at the click-through rate, the open rate, the unsubscribe rate. Now add the ratings, the pluses and the minuses, and maybe analyze the comments for that particular day.
Yeah, clicks on specific links. Like, look at all this stuff. This is like so much information. And for people to do that, oh my gosh, that is a full-time job, right? To analyze this newsletter.
I think it would take more. I think it would take more than one person, right?
Yes, you're right. And having AI do it, okay, maybe we can shortcut some of that and get a lot more information out of something that we otherwise wouldn't be able to.
And then this way you could become a more effective, in our case, newsletter sender.
Yeah,
content
more effective
creator.
anything.
Yeah. And I really liked your idea of I'm a plumber and I'm not a programmer. So have it look at your Yelp page and your social media to say, here are, what are ways that I could be doing things better and more effective?
Yeah, for sure. Next up, of course, you mentioned efficiency. Yes, we all want more time to, go get our steps or whatever. Tasks that take you forever. Maybe it's something that you're just particularly slow at. Maybe it's a task that just takes a long time. Well, AI can help you. This is one I use all the time. You can turn notes into something that's legible for other people. So I can take my little, quick typed up bullet points and say, please turn this into a nice email that I can send to someone. And it does it. And it's so nice. It's so nice.
Well, and that's, an email takes a lot of time.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, on my list, I have an email that I need to write to somebody to cancel a service.
Oh my gosh. Kim, use AI.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was on my list today. But it's like, I'm not going to sit there and say, "Dear Bob, blah, 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 blah. We entered into this venture with both of us having high expectations of its success," and whatever it may be. And so I can just say, okay, this is the deal. I'm going to cancel it. Make the guy feel good about it.
Exactly. It's so cool. It's like, okay, we're not quite to like mind reading tech yet. And I don't know if I ever actually want that. But it is this kind of, okay, say what you want the outcome to be, what you want to happen. You don't have to write everything out. You don't have to say it all. It'll infer a lot. And you'll at least end up with something that you can quickly edit that will be just as good as what you would have done in the first place, but so much faster.
And better.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've been using it with... I'm almost embarrassed, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've been using it with Kip. Okay. And so Kip totally called me out on it. He's like, "Which ChatGPT are you using to answer my emails?" I'm like, "Oh, Chip is our EVP, folks, in case you don't know that." But so Kip caught me.
Kip.
Sorry. But because you know what? I normally send short emails, but now all of a sudden it's like this. And then. Anyway, so moving on.
No, I gotcha.
All right.
And then, of course, the stuff that you just don't like. If there's something you really dislike about your job, about, something you have to do for your business, and it sits on your list and it gets under your skin and you think, "Oh my gosh, I have to email Bob to cancel this service, and I would rather do anything than email Bob." Use AI. Really, maybe that for you, you have an Etsy store and you cannot stand writing the product descriptions. Cool. AI is really good at stuff like that. Maybe you don't know how to reply to a really mean customer. AI is good at that. It can summarize documents, data entry stuff. Maybe you manage a store and, I don't know, making the schedule for employees. Ugh. AI can do that.
Yes.
Seriously. So all these things about your job that you're just like, "Oh man, if only I didn't have to do X," I bet AI could help you with those.
Okay, so Tracy came in to me. I don't know if I told you this. Tracy came in. She's one of our great sales folks here.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, here's the client. They changed the original contract." And I said, "Well, what changed?" She's like, "Yeah, I don't know." I'm like, "You don't know what changed?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Tracy. I mean, this is like a 7-page contract and, advertising contract."
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, I have an idea." So I put our contract, I put the client's contract, and then I said, "Tell me what's the difference." It told me what the difference was. And I said, "And tell me what the ramifications of those, what is that?" And
oh my gosh.
So it did the whole thing. And
amazing.
I know. And it said, well, then at the end, gave me a disclaimer. "You should consult your own legal." I'm like, I don't need to consult my lawyer at this point.
No, it is really good. AI in general is really good at things that are analysis, logic. Yeah, probably don't ask it. I don't know, the best way to respond to your friend who just lost their pet.
No, you don't want to do that.
That you need a human touch. But something like that, looking at a contract, oh, for sure. AI every day.
So I really liked how you break this down. So 3 categories. Tasks you don't know how to do, you're not good at. That's number 1. Number 2, things that take a lot of your time. And finally, stuff you just don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we move forward into 2024, I want you guys and gals to keep this in mind. Allie, of course, will always keep us up to date in the newsletters. If you're not already getting the newsletters, make sure that you sign up over at getkim.com. Allie, great job as always.
Thank you, Kim.
I know we just helped a whole bunch of people. They're like, "Oh, now I feel smart like Allie and Kim." All right, let's see. Larry in Tyler, Texas. Hello there, Larry.
I've got a property management company, and right now I have been using a Microsoft program, and to update it every year, and it keeps all the information in the system. And so it's easy to do. Well, my Microsoft computer is dying. I am a Mac user, and I am trying to find a software program that I can use on my Mac that I don't have to reload all my owners' information. I've got about 400 owners. I send out about a little over 200 1099s annually out to my owners. And I was trying to find out a recommendation.
All right. Do you have all these names in like QuickBooks by chance?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, what you're going to do is instead of using your old Windows computer, which you're like, I never want to get on there again. Okay. All right. And this program that you have to update all the time is I would take a look at using an online service for this that will allow you to create, verify, file, and send out these 1099 forms. And it also integrates with something like QuickBooks or maybe another accounting package. Now, they do charge, but by the time that you buy a new computer and you get the software and you still have to deal with everything else that goes along the way, because now with your Windows computer, you need antivirus security software. You know what I'm talking about. It just becomes...
Exactly.
It goes down a big black hole at that point. And then I just see, Larry, your little head arms coming up going, help me, get out of this. Help me. There's a company called Tax 1099. And they charge per form. I think it's like, 40 cents a form. So you can send that out. And, you can always charge this to the property owners and charge them, $10 for the form, under something else, administration fee or whatever it may be. So you get that money back. So it's Tax 1099. Another one's called eFile for Biz. That's eFile, the number 4, and then Biz, B-I-Z. This eFile for Biz, they do not only 1099s, but W-2s and ACA forms online as well. So the whole idea is that you're going to set up an account, you're going to import everybody from your QuickBooks account, and then you're going to be able to issue your 1099s just with a couple of press of the keys. You're not sitting there trying to figure all this out. It's just going to be done for you automatically. And again, it's compliant with IRS rules and their IRS authorized e-filing services. And that would be the best case scenarios. Again, the site is Tax 1099. Again, Tax 1099 and e-file for Biz. I hate paying taxes. Don't you? Oh, every time I look at it, I'm like, ooh, is this really necessary? Yeah, it is, because we don't want to go to the pokey. Okay, so let's say you're a dog lover. How'd you like to make $3,000 a month by renting out your backyard, right? Oh my gosh, $3,000 a month. This is a side hustle. It's a win for dog lovers everywhere. What you do is you're going to rent your backyard as a dog park using the app called Sniff Spot. Sounds a little kooky. I mean, why would someone want to rent your backyard? Maybe they're traveling. They need a place for Fido to unwind, or maybe there's just not a ton of space at their apartment. So to get started, head over to sniffspot.com. You're going to see backyards organized by state and city. I know, what a time that we live in. I found a backyard near me. It had photos, and it had a hammock for dog parents, and it had 349 reviews saying, we love the large grassy area and great hosts. Sniffspot says you can earn up to $3,000 a month by renting out your backyard. All right, do me a solid. Tell one person about the Kim Komando Show, and you can always find me at Komando.com.